And hello once more, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to take 4 of a Druids dozen. This week it's episode 66, and I've just unplugged my phone because my phone kept going off, and this is the 4th attempt I'm having to do this. I'm now very pushed for time, so this today is going to be a flyer. Apologies if details are going to be missing on some of these details, but I'm going to have to go through it quick. Yeah. My name's John, I am the Rock Druid, and I'll do a couple of radio shows, links to which are down there and over there, and this is me raiding my record collection and just chatting about them. So, without further ado, let's just dive straight in with a bit of this. Here we go, this is Quiet Riot 3, QR3 by Quiet Riot. Need to put my glasses on a minute. There is the front, there is the back. Whip this out. Oh, it's in here somewhere. There we are. Pictures are quite right. Pictures of the lyrics and that. Crap lyrics. Well, the lyrics aren't crap. The songs are quite good, but they're printed white on pale grey. Makes them very hard to read. There's the disc. I've already checked. There's no run out messages on it. Epic Records. There we go. Right, Quiet Riot, formed in the mid-1970s, US band. Their first 2 albums, QR1, QR2, Japanese only releases. Didn't get a European or US release until, well, into the late 80s, early 90s. Broke through with an album called Mental Health in 1983, I think it was. Creation Critical came out 84, this came out 86. This album marks a transition between Quiet Riot as being kind of MTV kind of radio darlings and bands settling down into what they would become right up until fairly recently, when they've actually called it quits after the death of only original member left, Frankie Benali. This is the classic lineup. Kevin DeBrow on vocals, the late great Kevin DeBrow. Chuck Wright on bass, Carlos Cravazo on guitar, the aforementioned Frankie Benali on drums. Pretty good album. Doesn't contain any cover versions for the first time on any Quiet Riot album, but it's all pretty damn hot. You got tracks like The Wild and the Young, the main attraction, Twilight Hotel, Shut Up and Put Up. It's all good stuff indeed. A little bit hair metal, a little bit hard rock, but you know, Quiet Riot were never really a full-on hair metal band. They just had to be caught up in that kind of scene at the time. But yeah, well worth a listen. Any Quiet Riot stuff's pretty damn good. This album's as good as any. Go check it out. Okay, next up we'll have this. This is Rottendam by Rearmed. There's the front. Lovely artwork on there. There's the back. There's the disc. Behind the disc is exactly the same as the disc. Here we have lyrics and artwork all the way through the booklet. Band pick on the back, and if you want to pause this in a second and have a read. There's the press release that came with it. Okay, Rearmed, band out of Finland, although sonically they do, this album came out 2014 by the way. Sonically, they are more akin to the Gothenburg death metal sound than they are to the Finnish stuff. You know, if you imagine bands like Soilwork, etc., that's the wicket they're coming off. It's pretty intense, pretty heavy stuff. Highlights for me on here is the opening sequence. There's a little instrumental section called Dead Light District, cuts into the cut Rotterdam, the title cut. Absolutely storming sequence. Other highlights, Super Animal, and then the closing section, which is a cut called Freak Show, going into an instrumental play out called Exiled. Really, really good stuff. You got 4 guys here on top of their game, laying out some pretty damn fine extreme metal. So yeah, if you haven't come across them before, I'll give them a check out. I think the band is still going. This is their 2nd album. I think there's a few others after this. Rearmed by Rottendam, sorry, by Rearmed. Okay, next up, we'll have a bit of prog rock. Here we are. The Sky Moves Sideways by Porcupine Tree. Autographed there, as you can see, Stephen Wilson and one of the other guys in the band. Whip this out. In here, I have a photograph of Porcupine Tree. There's the disc, blue vinyl, as you can see. No inlay messages, just catalogue number on the run out grooves. And what's that? Right the wrong way. Got a big poster comes with it of the album artwork. There we go. Right, Porcupine Tree, British. I will say prog rock, although I did a DJ support for Porcupine Tree on their Stupid Dream tour when they played Bristol. And one thing that really annoyed me, Stephen Wilson comes over to say, I thought he was coming up to say hello, but he didn't say a word. He just went straight into my record box and started going through, putting out albums by bands like Marillion and that, which I wasn't going to play. I just had them there just in case. And so no one ain't playing this prog rock shit. Well, we don't class ourselves as prog rock anymore. I forget what you call themselves, but needless to say, that annoyed me somewhat. I thought, you dickhead. And I'm here to give. I'm here to play the music that your supporters that come to the gig want. Who do you think you are telling me what to play and what not to play? And then one of their supporters asked for some Marillion. I played it, so nothing more was said. But anyway, although he did like the idea that I had a Nectar album on me, go figure. But anyway, Porcupine Tree, I will call them prog rock because, sorry Stephen, if you say you weren't prog, you're in denial. That's the kind of bat they were coming off. Whole string of albums, broke up a few years ago now, but did a whole string of pretty good albums, and this one's pretty good. You've got these title tracks, Sky Moves Sideways, Phase 1 and Phase 2, bracketing the album. One's 18.5 minutes, one's just under 17 minutes long. And then you've got 3 shorter tracks chucked in the middle, Dislocated Day, Moon Touch Your Shoulder, Prepare Yourself. All pretty sweet. They're quite intense in places, excellently played, excellently performed. Production is damn fine as well. And makes for a damn fine record. This is like 1995 Delirium Records. Not my favourite Porcupine Tree album. That will probably be See the Stupid Dream or Coma Divine. But hey, it's all pretty damn good anyway. Yeah, Porcupine Tree, Sky Moves Sideways, 1995. Okay, next up, something a bit more obscure. Callel, I don't know how you want to pronounce this, but anyway, that's it, C-A-A-E-L, and Earthling Diamonds. They're one, as far as I'm aware, they're one and only release. It's a 6-track mini album. There's the front, there is the back. This came out round about, it doesn't actually, if I'm right, it doesn't actually say on here, but I think it's about 2012. Anyway, there's behind the disc. and it's just a inlay card. So no nothing to open up, no booklet to show you. Now, for about 15 minutes back when this album came out, so around about 2010, 2012, these were heralded as the great saviours of Scottish indie rock. You know, musically, they're off the same bat as, say, like the Arctic Monkeys, maybe Snow Patrol, that kind of thing. Overall, pretty sweet, but unfortunately, like many of these bands, they kind of failed to make much of an impact and kind of have vanished off the face of the earth. The only net presence I can find is a couple of reviews of this album that go meh, and then there's a long abandoned MySpace page. You know, kids, if you don't know what MySpace is, ask your dads. But anyway, shame, because these guys weren't exactly earth-shattering. They were competent. They were, so they did this one, as far as I'm aware, it's the only thing they released, little 6-track EP. Highlights include Krakatoa's Sun and Sun in the Sky. But yeah, like I said, if you're into the bands like the Arctic Monkeys, Snow Patrol, etc., you may find these guys interesting. Yeah, but you know, this might be hard to get hold of because, like I said, these guys became very obscure very quick. Yeah, Earthling, Diamond, Callel, around about 2012. Okay, next up, bit of this. Open All Night by the Georgia Satellites. American Southern rock band, although I don't think Southern rock as in Leather Skin of Molly Hatchet. There's no extended Freebird style 7-minute triple guitar workouts on this. This is just pure, good old, straight down the line, hard rock and roll. This is their second album. Before this, there's the, I can't remember what it was called, but there was a 5-track EP came out. And then their first album, their eponymous debut, which is the famous one that's got the big hits, Battleship Chains and Keep Your Hands to Yourself on it. They followed up with this album, Open All Night, came out in 1988. There's another one, Land of Salvation and Sin. And then, although the band have never actually broken up and there's still an ongoing concern, apart from an album of rock and roll standards in the late 90s, they've never released anything else. Yet they're still going strong, still kind of southern boogieing their way around the US with the occasional visit to Europe. Damn fine band. I can't find anything to dislike about the Georgia Satellites. While they're not big, they're not clever, they're not flash, they're just great rock and rollers. They do a great cover. On here, there's I do a version of A Whole Lot of Shaking. But you know, you got other cuts on here. The opening cut, Duncan Dine, Don't Pass Me By, Living Hand to Mouth. All good stuff. I meant to show you the inside. No lyric sheet or anything, just a picture of the band. That picture there. No run out grooves, and there we are. Electra Records. Yeah, not much else to say about the Georgia Sats, really. Just a really good rock and roll band. Criminally, I think these days underrated, although they were quite well known at the time. These days they tend to be in the lost and forgotten file, and they don't belong there. These guys belong in, you know, people should have their records in their collection and still be listening to them to this day because they are a great band. Yeah, this is good. All their albums are pretty damn good. This is as good a place to start as any, although if you want their big hits, go for their eponymous debut. But yeah, 1988, Open All Night, Georgia Satellites. Good stuff. Okay, next up, CD. And we'll have this, bit of a super group, Brides of Destruction, Here Comes the Brides. And this came out in 2004. There's the front. I do believe we have another poster. There we go. And on the flip side of the poster, you have a band pick. There's the disc. There's the back. Crack it open. I do love some of the artwork on this. There's the that one. There's the disc itself. Pull this out. Mainly lyrics on here. Right, now, Brides of Destruction, a kind of occasional super group, party group, however you want to call it. Basically, it's yeah, Tracy Guns from LA Guns, Nicky Sticks and Motley Crue with a couple of mates. This is their debut album. They have reformed with slightly different lineups, including Ginger from the Wild Hearts at one point, for various tours, and there's a second album which I haven't got. But yeah, this came out, say, 2004. Pretty good. It's a fun album. It's kind of a load of mates having fun in the studio, basically knocking out some good stuff. There's Shut That Up, which is the opening cut. Lays out the story in fine file. 2 Times Dead, Brace Yourself, Natural Born Killers, Only Get So Far. It's heavy, it's rock and roll, it's sleazy, it's kind of, you know, put it this way, if this was a girl you met in a pub, you want to make sure you were triple bagged before you had any knee tremble around the back of the bins, because that's the sort of sound it gets. And that's what kind of glam and sleaze rock's about, really, isn't it? That kind of dirty, low down, sleazy rock and roll. This is great at it. This is really good. I do like this. Yeah, it can be offensive, but it's a lot of fun. And if you've not really come across this project, this is a good album to start on. Can't speak for the second album because I haven't heard it, but I do like this. Yeah, Brides of Destruction, Here Come the Brides, 2004. Okay, next up, back to the UK and a bit of punky stuff. Here we go. This is Me Memphis and the album Fore. There's the front. There's the back. Pop this open. No inlay card or anything, just a little kind of album note there. Knock this out. There's behind the disc. There is the disc. Now, Me Memphis are a Welsh band. And despite looking like they should be a country band, these guys are actually a bit punky. Okay, they've got a bit of the old cow punk thing going, but they're more punk than country, put it that way. Pretty good album. Don't Call Me Ishmael, probably the highlight on here. Hot Florist, Yankee Doodle, Zip Zang Doom, Zip Zang Zong, sorry, Patriots, Vulture, Ocean Almanac, all good stuff. Kind of comes at you. It's not exactly earth-shattering low. I mean, I drugged this out a couple of days ago to inclusion on today's dozen, gave it a listen, and I haven't played it since, and it's kind of slipped from the mind a bit, so maybe that says something. Don't know when this came out either. I want to say 2009, but I may be wrong. Yeah, it's not bad, but like I said, it's not exactly earth-shattering either. Yeah, so not much else to say on this. Give Me Memphis, the album Fore, 2009 or thereabouts. Okay, next up we're going to stay in Welsh Wales. I'm going to have 2 ounces of plastic with a hole in the middle. Man, yeah, I tilted Man a couple of episodes ago. Do like a bit of Man. And here's another one. There's the front. There's the back. Now this isn't an original pressing. Whip this out, as you can see. I can't remember the original label it was on, but there we go. C for Mars Records. This is a 80s repress, reissue. C for Mars are a label that they brought out reissued a lot of classic British psych and acid rock from the 70s. They reissued Robert Calvert albums and Michael Moorcock and the Deep Fix and all that kind of thing, and some of Man's back catalogue. Now, originally, this is Man's second album, came out in 1969 originally, and was probably the breakthrough album for Man. Not that Man ever became hugely commercially successful or anything, but this was the album that kind of established them on the UK scene. When they toured this, one of their early support bands was the legendary Hawkwind, and then on later days Hawkwind repaid Man the favour by taking them on tour with them. It's pretty good. It's quite trippy, but kind of rock and roll trippy. It's not exactly kind of acidy away with the fairies stuff, but on the other hand, it's pretty cool. Tracks on here, the first side is only 2 tracks, both of which are about 8-9 minutes long. Prelude and the Storm, and then it is as it must be. Second side, you got more kind of shorter, more kind of commercial type tracks on there, including Brother Arnold's Red and White Striped Tent, which is my favourite track on the album, Spunk Box, Parchment and Candles, My Name is Jesus Smith, etc. All good stuff. Well, kind of say like bit psych, bit trippy, and yeah, if you haven't come across Man before, yeah, all their albums are worth a look. This is a good place to start. Yeah, 1969, 2 ounces of plastic with a hole in the middle by Man. Okay, next up, another one from my obscurity section. This is The Truths and their eponymous debut album from 2008, something like that, I think. It doesn't say. But anyway, there's the front. There's the back. Pop this out. There's the disc. And again, just a basic inlay card here. And no release date or anything. Yeah, I think it's the same. I think it's around about 2010 because I've got it around about the same time as I got that Callel album came through from, I believe, Engineer Records. But anyway, The Truths, all again, another band that I know nap all about really. Very little web information on them. All I can understand is they're from Hale in Kent. 5-piece kind of alternative rock outfit. And again, a few passing references to this album on the net, and a long dead MySpace page that's kind of in ruins is their only kind of thumbprint they left behind, apart from a few copies of this album. A shame, because just like Callel, although not earth-shatteringly, and they are never going to be huge rock stars, you know, I do believe that most music has merit, and these guys did have something to say. There's some quite good tracks on here, including Triptych, Everybody's Crying on the Inside, Fear is the Key, Lost Soul Song, all good stuff. It bounces between kind of sort of like quite up-tempo, kind of, which I think we're about to comparing with, quite a tempo indie rock to some quite sort of like melancholy, soul-searching stuff, you know, kind of with a spoonful of angst on the side. But you know, it's not unlistenable. It's the guys on here play well, and they write some pretty good songs. Just a shame that, you know, no one seems to remember them. But such is the way of 99.9% of all bands. Shame, but that's the way you go. Anyway, The Truths by The Truths from whenever. If you can find a copy, give it a listen. But if not, you've not missed much. Okay, next up we'll have a guitar hero with a difference. The Slide Area by Cooder. There's the front. There is the back. Whip this out. No run out groove messages. Sorry, around that side. Warner Brothers label, you see. And this came out in 1982. Cooder, in case you don't know, a real guitar god. When it comes to playing slide guitar, this guy has few peers. I mean, I do love a bit of slide guitar, and you know, yeah, and there's been some good ones around, you know, like old Mickey Moody could do some great slide, Snowy White could, Rose Tattoo, one of their guitarists, was a slide demon, but, you know, Jeff Healey, but, yeah, this is the god whose altar they worship at. You know, this Cooder is up there with, yeah, your Eddie Van Halen's, your Carlos Santana's, your Jimi Hendrix's as the ultimate guitar player. Is probably, you may have, those of you that like a bit of a rock and roll movie may have heard Cooder without realising it. He does a lot of film soundtrack stuff, and the classic movie Crossroads, about the kid that goes to the crossroads to sell his soul to the devil to rock and roll. The end sequence where the kid is dueling the devil being played by, is it Joe Satriani? Oh, it's no, Steve Vai, sorry, plays the devil. Cooder does the music that the kid plays. The result is Steve Vai and Cooder doing a fantastic guitar duel. This is really good stuff. It's kind of bluesy, it's soulful, but it can rock and roll as well. Highlights on here, the album kicks off with the UFOs Landed in the Ghetto, one of my favourite Cooder tracks. Blue Suede Shoes, the old Elvis Presley number, On Drinking Again, which came first, Gypsy Woman, all excellent stuff. And I'm not saying this is the best Cooder album, because for my sins I've only got a couple in the collection, this one and a couple of others, but he's done loads and still going strong to this day. So if you fancy exploring some good slide guitar work, Cooder, just check out any of his albums. This is a good place to start. but just check out any of his work and have your mind blown. Yeah, Riot Cooder, The Slide Area, 1982. Okay, next up, we got our last CD of the day. There is the front. There is the back. This is Echoes of Anguish by Rudimentary Peni. UK hardcore. Crack the disc open. There is the disc there. Whip this out. This is mainly lyrics on here. Rudimentary Peni never released photographs of them, and for many years never gigged. They were just a so far underground that they were never seen. But yeah, I can't remember where they came from. I want to say Liverpool, may be wrong, but came through in the late 80s. They were one of the pioneers. I don't know when this album came out. Doesn't even say when this came out, but I think it's around about, oh yeah, 1997 this one did say. Like I said, they did gig and tour, but then they kind of decided to go very much underground and became a studio-only band. We just released a string of great, in-your-face, loud, nasty, hardcore records throughout the well, to this day they're still banging out the occasional record. This album came out in 1987 and is pretty typical of their stuff. All the tracks are fairly short, you know, some of them 30 seconds long, the longest is about 2.5 minutes. It's very intense, very kind of in your face, but they're well constructed songs. They're you know, these are songs that do actually mean something. Cuts on here include Flame of Watch, include In Memory of Pain, The Womb So Scorned, Echo, Stone, Trial by Separation. All good stuff indeed. If you like your punk, you like bands like the Cro-Mags, you like bands like Converge, then you know Rudimentary Peni should be on your shelves or on your iPod with the rest of the stuff. Seminal UK hardcore outfit. Albums can be quite obscure and hard to pick up, but believe me, they are out there and worth a grab if you find one. Yeah, 1997, Rudimentary Peni, Echoes of Anguish. Leads us on to the last one for today. Well, we have flown through this, yeah, sorry. I said I'd like to go into more detail, take your time a bit, but time is really pressing today. Here we go. Where did this one come out? 1983. Play Dirty, Girlschool. Girlschool's 4th studio album. There's the front. There's the back. Whip this out. No inlay card or anything in this. There we go. Bronze Records. No, run out of disc message. And yeah, Girlschool's 4th solo studio album, and one that marks a bit of a change, and it's a bit of an unusual album, this. A lot of it is down to the fact that they changed producers. The previous Girlschool albums, you know, the classics like Hit and Run, Screaming Blue Murder, were Vic Mail Productions. For this one, whether it was the girls' idea or the record label's idea, I don't know, but they brought in Noddy Holder and Jim Lee from Slade as producers. The result is quite a strange album for Girlschool. And although I do like this album, and and I do play it quite regularly, it doesn't tend to fit in with the Girlschool canon so much. It does tend to be a bit of an outlier musically. That kind of punky biker metal sound that Girlschool perfected over those first 3 albums seems to have gone out the window in kind of almost kind of lightweight, whimsy, kind of glam party kind of vibe. Don't get me wrong, it's still heavy, it's still very, very rock and roll, but I don't know, it's that kind of Slade influence. Gives it a bit of a Slade vibe. Now, those of you that know me know I'm a massive Slade fan, so that's not a bad thing. But whether it works well with Girlschool, my jury, I've had this album since it got released, and my jury is still out 40 years later on it. Yeah, there's an actual Noddy Holder penned track on here, High and Dry, written specially for Girlschool. And then you've also got a cover of T-Rex's 20th Century Boy, which does rock and roll like a good one. Other highlights running for cover, North in the Media, Surrender, title track Play Dirty. All good stuff, although it's, like I said, it is a bit, I don't know. I wouldn't recommend Girlschool, people getting into Girlschool starting on this album. It will give them a completely wrong impression of the band. Although, once you've got your head around what Girlschool are doing, this makes for a very interesting listen. Yeah, Girlschool, Play Dirty, 1983. Well, that's it. Sorry today was a bit rushed. Like I said, I had 4 attempts at starting this and the phone kept ringing. Not that I'm rejecting because it was family business, but it left me very short of time, so I had to do a quick pile through. So, remember, I always like to hear your feedback. What's your experiences of the albums? Any information that I missed? Anything you want to add? Do you disagree with me? Do you agree with me? Comments down there on YouTube, over there on Facebook. Always good to hear from you. While you're there on either platform, if you're on YouTube, hit subscribe and like. Hit like on Facebook. It does kind of help spread the word. Not that I'm after making money out of this. I just want to talk music to as many people as possible. So, yeah, thanks for watching. I'll be back next week with a normal length episode. So until then, I'm out of here. Bye.